my God, Joe Biden. Man, at this point, we just like, dog, can you just leave us alone? Like, leave America alone. He was asked if he was going to drop out of the race. And, of course, he remembered his response, at least.
Completely ruling that out. Because I beat him before, and I've gotten more done than any president has.
Have you spoken to members of Congress?
No, but you've been wrong about everything so far. You were wrong about 2020. You were wrong about 2022. We were going to get wiped out. Remember the red wave? You were wrong about 2023. And you said all the tough races, we won them all but two. So, look, we'll see.
Have you spoken to members of Congress?
I have.
Who have you spoken to?
At least 20.
What are they telling you? What are they telling you, sir?
They're telling me to stay in the race.
What about the people who have called for their gathering together to call for you to step aside? I think Senator Mark Warner is one of the people.
Well, Mark Warner, my understanding, is the only one considering that. No one else has called me to do that.
Do you value the thoughts of the officials in your policy?
Former President Trump again.
I hope he'll debate me. I wouldn't be surprised
And
if
if
he
he's in, will you commit to debating him?
I'm committing now, absolutely, whether he's in or not.
Do you value the thoughts of members of your own party when it comes to your decision to stay in the race?
Sure I do. That's why they've said, you guys saw the governors. Every one of them in that room. All those governors said, stay in the race. Laura Haley didn't say anything when I was in the room. Okay?
Sir, will you make changes to your campaign staff at all after the debate?
We're adding, look, we've just added another 120 staffers. We have the most extensive staff operation in the states.
And are you pleased with your advisors and how they're seeing you through this moment in your campaign?
Any mistake made is my fault. Thank you.
Are you confident you can serve another 4 years?
I'm positive.
You always talk to young people. You're so committed to talk to young people. Why not let someone younger take the country forward? I just have to ask. Why not let every CEO has a succession plan?
Well, by the way, you do have succession plans. But what do I need a succession plan for now?
Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? Oh man, you talking about some, y'all see the governors? Yeah, the governors that you picked and you paid. Like, we know what's up. You orchestrating all this to try to mask it, to make it seem like this is what Congress and everybody really wants. But we know that that's not the truth. Even CNN out here, you know what I mean? They done switched up on you bad. Joe Biden has been acting like a nursing home patient with dementia for the last 5 years. And now Dr. Sanjay Gupta, I believe that's how you say his name, is calling for a cognitive test. Obama gave him the green light. What a complete fraud is what this post right here says. Now, y'all know he previously refused to take a cognitive test. We know why.
CNN's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, is calling on President Joe Biden to undergo cognitive testing and share his results with the American people after what he calls, quote, concerning behavior at last week's presidential debate. Sanjay Gupta is joining us right now. Okay, so Dr. Sanjay Gupta, I mean, what provoked you to do this?
Well, Fred, good morning. First of all, this is not a political essay. It's a medical one. And I think a lot of the things that, people saw at that debate weren't necessarily new, but they were sustained. And I think more pronounced than what we had seen in the past. And I think that's what really provoked the essay. I think that the question really being raised is, have we been looking at intermittent episodes, or is this reflective of some sort of deeper underlying condition? And that's what I really wanted to get at. Let me tell you a few of the things that specifically jumped out. And I will also mention, as you're looking at some of these specific signs that neurologists noted, that after the debate, I got a lot of calls, texts, emails from my neurology and brain science colleagues from around the world, frankly, sort of highlighting some of these things. But if you take a look, slow response time, I think we saw that, sort of in a sustained fashion. Definitive word retrieval mix-ups, rambling, sometimes confused speech, reduced voice volume as well, and reduced facial movements. And these things can all be connected. We often think of cognition simply being memory, but if someone has an underlying movement disorder, for example, that can actually affect cognition in the sense that people may have more flattened affect, face, and not really be speaking as quickly or as loudly. Now, if he were my patient, if he were my dad, frankly, I would want to get more testing done, cognitive testing and more detailed movement disorder testing as well. Now, you've heard, Fred, what the White House has said about this. They say, look, it was a bad night for him. He had had late nights. He had had jet lag. He had a cold. We heard he wasn't taking any medications for that. And those things can cause temporary brain fog, if you will. Mm-hmm. But again, this idea, are we looking at episodes of something, or is this a condition that should be more fully investigated? And it really seems to be more of the latter.
This is a whole season. Which makes me say, you know, despite all of the corruption and us wanting justice for the corruption that we've seen come from the DOJ, I'm also looking at them like, yo, y'all ain't got no type of heart whatsoever, man. This man is up here like this, you know, whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with somebody hand in his back doing like this. But anyhow, and y'all still gonna keep putting this man out there on the front lines. That says a lot about y'all, man. Says a lot about y'all. Now, he was asked about his condition. ABC was asked, was your humiliating debate, quote, a bad episode or a sign of a more serious condition? And Biden's response was a typical Democrat response, man. Y'all just can't accept defeat for nothing.
Let's start with the debate. You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It was a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked if they did a COVID test because they're trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, you know, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
You asked them to run some tests on you, huh? You asked them to run some tests. Why couldn't they have run a cognitive test on you, Biden? That's all we saying. You know, why are you refusing that test? You know, like, and I know I'm over here doing the faces like, because, you know, it's kind of really hard to believe the BS, any BS that comes from the DOJ. But, you know, he could have really been sick, but I don't know if I believe it. Let me know in the comments right now if you believe that. But they're going to continue the PR campaign on trying to continue to make Joe Biden seem like they gonna keep giving him that White House pack. They gonna keep giving him that White House pack. You know, whatever they gave him Kamala Harris, they probably, you know, helped him out with it. You know, she probably helped him out with some of that. Because, dog, it's the delusion for me. He wrote, Joe Biden, that is, I'm not letting one 90-minute debate wipe out 3.5 years of work. I wonder who was the PR that sat down and wrote that part. And he also boasts about how he's going to stay in the race and beat Donald Trump. Oh, man, like those dead people who voted. Oh, I'm just saying.
Now, you probably heard we had a little debate last week. Can't say it was my best performance. We love it, Joe. But ever since then, there's been a lot of speculation. What's Joe going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? What's he going to do? Well, here's my answer. I am running and going to win again. Because folks, I'm the sitting president of the United States of America in no small part because of you. Not a joke. In 2020, you came through for me. I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party. I'm the nominee of this party because millions of Democrats like you just voted for me in primaries all across America. You voted for me to be your nominee. No one else. You, the votes. The voters did that. And despite that some folks don't seem to care who you voted for, well, guess what? They're trying to push me out of the race. Well, let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm staying in the race. I'll beat Donald Trump. I will beat him again in 2020. Well, by the way, we're going to do it again in 2024. I learned long ago, when you get knocked down, you get back up. I'm not letting one 90-minute debate wipe out 3.5 years of work. As the governor said, I've led this nation from the depths of pandemic to the strongest economy in the world, and that's literally true. And I and you are not finished yet.
He said when you get knocked down, you get back up, but in his case, he got knocked out. I don't know if you can get back up. Immediately after getting knocked out, it takes some time, buddy. You got knocked out, my guy. Y'all, we got to go to his comment section. I ain't seen one comment. I want to look at it all fresh with y'all. We got George right here. The intern that wrote this should be ashamed. How about you include the part where he thought the year was 2020? That was the first thing that I was going to bring up, too, after I mentioned the whole knockdown thing. But I'm glad you reminded me because, after I said I was going to come to the anyhow, shout out to my guy, George. Okay, Clown World responded, Joe, that debate showed exactly why 3.5 years of your leadership haven't worked. Trump is ready to step in and fix the mess. Yeah, I knew that one, but I know that was going to come. AKA said, we're voting for Trump, so you're going to have to find many fake votes. Mind you, this is under Joe Biden's post right here. You got somebody right here, Gunther Engelman. Please stay in the race, Joe. Cheap fake. Yeah, man. They chewing this man out. Oh, what is this?
Number one.
What is?
Oh, you see this guy? Number one.
Oh my God, the internet is undefeated, man. Oh, what is this? Oh, yeah, man. Read one more. Like Joe said, he wasn't too old when he created 15 million jobs, appointed Justice Brown to the court, or assigned student loan relief. The other side doubles down when this candidate threatens to women's rights. Well, I'm sorry. Let me read that part of it. The other side doubles down when its candidate threatens to women's rights. Okay, I did read it right the first time. We can double down when Joe threatens to be the president. Damn it. Yeah. Well. At the end of the day, I'm with that reporter at the beginning who just said, yo, you definitely show a lot of love to the young people, and you definitely spend a lot of time trying to, invest there. But why don't you go ahead and step aside and let somebody young renew this position? You know what I'm saying? And Joe is like, no, I'm going to stay ruining America.